Hey everybody, welcome back. It has been a while. I've been busy with work. The weather has been terrible. Every time I have a day off, the weather is either snowing or lately it's been raining. But I have a little free time today. I'd like to show you my new project. But first, I'd like to give a shout out to Lane Grease at Bastion Black Performance for this nice shirt that I won from a challenge. Only the hits count, if you can read that nice Bastion Black Performance. It's a nice shirt. Thank you, Lane. I like it. It's awesome. So, I'm going to put my GoPro here on my head, and we're going to take a look at my new rig. Okay, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning, and it is so nice outside. I decided to be in my backyard on my picnic table. I got some meat going on the smoker here. That'll take about 10, 11 hours. A couple of pork shoulders. Let's start off. Black Hawk Sportster gun cases. Let me tell you something. I've had this gun case about 9 years now, and yeah, it's dirty because I use it. This is my travel case, my range case. Technically, this is the third rifle I've ever used for it. Nothing is frayed on it, not one stitch. All of the Velcro is still good on it. I carry it by the sling all the time. The sling has not come apart once, not one fray of the stitching on either side. Yeah, it's a little dirty, but you know what? Because I use it. Black Hawk Sportster gun cases. They are great. Okay, let's open her up and take a look. Let's get this off here so we can get it out of the way. You can see it. Primary weapon systems. Mark 116, if you can see that okay. MK116 Mod1-M. The M stands for the M-lock rail. I got this from FortressTactical.com. The only downfall I've had to do was I've had to buy the upper and the lower separate. But I got the build I wanted. I believe primary weapon system is a combination of Bootleg Inc. primary weapon systems and Bravo Company machine. Talk about well-built stuff here. This thing is solid. All right, I got the 16-inch barrel, 223 wild chambering. It's only a 1/8 twist, but I'm okay with that. 1/8 twist is just good enough for my needs. That's my suppressor. You've seen that before. We'll get to that in a minute. So let's start from back to front. Bravo Company machine buttstock. It says BCM right there. Primary weapon systems patented buffer tube system with the ratcheting castle nut. I bought the quick release on here with the mag pull sling. It's got spots here, back here, and I added one in the front on the M-lock rails here. This thing is solid, okay? When you have any other kind of standard AR, when you fire it, you can kind of hear the thong of the spring. I know that that's a funny noise and it doesn't do it justice. When you got the thong, thong, thong every time you shoot, to me that can become a little annoying. But this thing does not have that spring noise at all. This is solid. I mean, when you have to push the bottom here to move it forward, it's a little tight yet because technically this rifle's still fairly new. I've only got maybe 500 rounds through it. But I really like how this buffer tube feels. It is comfy and it is solid, and you do not have that thong noise. Even when I shoot suppressed, I do not hear that at all. And when you get it up there and you got your hearing protection on unsuppressed, you still do not have that sound. This is a very solid built setup here. Bravo Company machine pistol grip with the got BCM written on that. I don't know if you can see that okay. It's got nice little solid door here to open stuff up. I got some gear in here. I got a tool that came with the rifle. I'll get to that in a minute. A couple of other things here. Okay, the reason why I chose the Mod 1 was me being in the Marine Corps. I was trained to adapt to having a forward assist. Okay, this comes in more handy than you think. The Bravo Primary Weapon Systems Mod 2 has eliminated the forward assist. and that's fine. It does make for a lighter weapon. It does look cool. There was a Bravo Company machine mil-spec trigger system in there. I took that out. It is excellent, it really is. If you remember my 20-inch classic rifle from my 500-yard shoot, I took the trigger system out of this one and I put it in that rifle, and I put a new one in here. It is excellent. I'll get to that in a minute. I added Magpul M-Lock rail covers here. It's got quite some stippling on there. It's solid. I got the Magpul flashlight grip on here, and I got a Streamlight 500 lumen light. Just your good old-fashioned Magpul backup sights. You know, I've sighted these in pretty good. They work really well. My Holosun HS403A red dot with a UTG quick release handle. So if anything were to happen to this, these are so well built, you should never have to worry about it. But then again, stuff happens. You never know. If anything were to happen to this, all I gotta do is just pull this lever off and flip up my sights, and I'm good to roll. So let's start from the bottom here. Take it apart. I don't know how well you can see this okay, but I have chosen the CMC out of Texas 3.5 pound trigger system here. This thing, I tell you what folks, just for your average Joe shooter, if you want smooth as butter action and crisp as glass break, CMC triggers. I love this thing. I got the curved trigger set up here. There's also a straight one you can buy. But this trigger system, man, it is amazing. I love this. It's like, how have I gone my whole life not having this kind of trigger system in any of my prior builds? This thing is great. Basically kind of your good old-fashioned buffer system here. Not very big, but that buffer system set up in here, they may not seem like a very big buffer on there, but it works really well. And I also got the Mod1 lower. I don't need all of the ambidextrous. You know, I am right-handed, and I have been trained to adapt to be able to switch to left, which is still, you know, still works for me. But, you know, primarily I shoot right, so I didn't need all the extra left-handed equipment to go on this. Let's see, this came with its own muzzle brake, but I changed it so it can adapt to my suppressor. My Griffin Armament 30 SD. I have the Griffin Armament Hammer Comp retaining washer that has a nub on there, so that when I put the suppressor on, that nub will stop it from going too far, and I can just clip it right on like nothing. Look at that. But I can take it off, and that hammer comp still works pretty well on this setup here. I have the CAA Command Arms accessories. I have this on here. Technically it should go a little further back, but because the M-Lock doesn't go all the way to the back, I'm okay with this setup right here, because I like being able to still have full range of motion. I don't want it up here. I don't want it, you know, any specific spot. I want to be able to still be able to move my hand around if I needed to. But let's get into what's so special about this rifle. This is a long stroke piston system here. It's a little dirty because I've shot it enough. I haven't quite cleaned it. So, oh man, let me tell you something. You want a top quality charging handle? Get one of these suckers right here. A Radian Raptor. This thing is solid. It is ambidextrous, it is tough, and it makes for very smooth action. So let's get into the bolt system here. As you can see, this was designed to be able to come off there so you can do your charging handle, but here's your basic piston system here. You can see on any other kind of piston rifles that it is, you know, it's just a piston rod and then the bolt carrier group. This is attached. This makes for very smooth cycling action. You don't really notice a whole lot of AK-47 slapback, if anybody knows what I'm talking about. it's not, you don't feel it. The buffer tube system here and the piston system here and the spring-loaded bolt here makes for very nice action on this thing, especially when suppressed. I'll get to that here. So I'll take this apart a little bit more if I dare. Now, I'm gonna get to what I don't like about this rifle. So let's get this bolt apart here very carefully. Talk about some top quality coating here on the firing pin. This thing is smooth as butter. Take this part here. Now the bolt here is spring loaded. It's got a little spring in there inside the bolt carrier group that helps make for some nice action. Now this here, it's a little dirty, but look at how nice and easy that just wipes off with my finger, because the surface area on this, man, smooth, very, very smooth, very nice finish on this bolt. So let's get to what I don't like about this rifle. The number one thing, my biggest gripe, my big issue that I don't like is that when I'm going to go to put this back together, this part is not a problem. Okay, putting the firing pin in there is not a problem. Look at that, normal. My problem, my biggest gripe, is that inside the pistol grip, in my little toolkit, I have a little jeweler's screwdriver. Okay, this is the one thing I don't like about this at all. It does make it for it to be difficult when field stripping. Is that when you put this in here, the pin is flared out, and when you try to put it in, it does not go in that hole on the other side very well. You can see there's another hole on this side where when it goes in, you'll see the ends of it. It does not go in. I hate this. I hate this so much. This rifle shoots excellent. Man, I love this setup on how it works. But if I want to field strip it, this is my gripe. So what I do is I have this jeweler's screwdriver, and I have to go in there and I have to go inside here. It'll be flared out. And now I'm gonna go in past, if I can do it better this way. I'm gonna go in, it's gonna flare out. I gotta go in on the inside of the firing pin, and I gotta push it in to get it to close, to push into place, if you know what I mean. And I think this is such a big hassle. I mean, I've tried this how many times? I turn it, I twist it, I push it. I can't ram it in there. So what I do is I gotta have my thumb resting on the end here. I gotta go inside and I gotta push it shut. You'll have to excuse me, this might take a moment. So yeah, this is very hard to do here. This is my biggest gripe on this gun. The biggest headache. Here we go. Sometimes I gotta turn it the opposite way. I hope you're watching Primary Weapon Systems, because I don't know, honestly, if there we go. Yeah, okay. What a pain in the neck. So anyway, there's that. So my mag pull sights came with a little front sight adjustment tool. I keep that in there. I don't ever expect these to come loose because it's a pin that goes through, and it has these two wrenches to go on each side, and you can counter twist them here to get them nice and tight. They spin because, well, the pin isn't exactly captured, but these stay tight. They have never come loose. I've never really had to worry about it, but I don't want to lose these, and you never know, maybe they might come loose, so I keep them in there. And then of course my jeweler's screwdriver for the pin that goes in the little case here. And that all fits pretty nicely in the Bravo Company machine pistol grip. All right, so let's get this back together. So let's start by taking the two parts of the piston rod apart. Put the charging handle in here. Put the other end of the piston rod together. This took me, this actually took me a few tries to master. To be honest with you, you know, it being new, I mean, I'm sure anybody that's bought this rifle has to had to fight it a little bit. So you get it in there just enough. You got to have this sticking out. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to bend anything. Get it in there to where your nubs on your charging handle align, just like on any AR. And then it all pushes together nicely. There you go. And then it's just basically, you know, your upper and your lower that come together. There. And this thing is comfy. It's quite lightweight. I've added a little weight to it, putting all the accessories onto it, but not a whole lot. I got this right here. I like to be right here if I'm going to be in a, you know, close quarter situation. Put the buttstock in a little bit more, and there we go. I got a nice tight little package. I know having the GoPro on my head doesn't do this justice, but this is my setup. Now let's get to another piece, the last bit of nitty gritty on the #1 reason why I chose this as my setup. This sucker right here, Suppression. These were, from what I understand and what I've researched, were pretty much specifically built for suppression adjustment. It seems a little counterintuitive that it came with a completely different muzzle brake on there, so really you can't put a suppressor or any kind on the muzzle brake that came with it. But then again, the muzzle brake that did come with it was really nice. I can't find it right now. Maybe I'll get to that later. But I took that muzzle brake off and I had this one put on so that I can just clip my suppressor on. Okay. And with it being the piston system here, it has fully adjustable settings. It came with a tool. There we go. I don't know how well you can see that, but it is adjustable for suppression. I've got standard, I've got basic suppression, and I keep some good 62 grain, I don't know, basic mil-spec ammo. You know, I don't have any special stuff here. That's another reason why I didn't mind the 1/8 twist. Who really, I know 77 grain would be a more optimal cartridge to use, but 62 grain just seems more universal. So I got 62 grain green tips on there, which is going to be a hotter load. So this has a third setting for hotter loads, for better gas regulation, for suppression using hotter loaded ammo. And I basically keep it on this all the time because, well, I keep these magazines on the ready. But that's pretty much the #1 reason why I chose this setup, was for the excellent suppression design that these rifles were built for. And again, I have the tool. I keep it handy inside of the pistol grip, just like everything else. And let me tell you something, this pistol grip locks pretty solid. Just keep it in there. Clip. So Bravo Company machine trigger guard as well. Bravo Company machine pistol grip, buttstock, primary weapon systems upper and lower, Midwest Industries M-lock rail, Bootleg Inc. I believe built the bolt. I'm not entirely sure on that. But this is a very excellent design, very good setup. And again, I chose the Mod1 setup because the forward assist comes in handy. It's great. Anybody that has a good standard AR would know that every once in a while you're going to have a round that's not going to feed entirely right just because it's a dirty weapon. Not because there's something wrong with the weapon or there's something wrong with the ammo, just that it's got carbon buildup. So you get that one in there, it doesn't quite feed all the ready. Pop your forward assist. That's what it's there for. That's what it was designed for. That's what it's going to do for you. Pop the forward assist. There you go. Quick note, there's somebody I know that I shoot competition with. His name is Levi. he made another very, very good point on the necessity of having a forward assist. He coyote hunts with an AR platform. I don't know what cartridge he uses, but he uses an AR platform. He made a very, very good point. He's out there and he's, you know, sitting there waiting and waiting. He sees that coyote. Now, I don't know why he doesn't have one in the chamber. Maybe he feels safer leaving it completely unloaded. But I believe he does have a magazine in there. I'm not going to load this. So he's got a magazine in, but no round in the chamber. So when he sees a coyote and he wants to be quiet, he says he takes the charging handle, comes back, and lets it go forward. He keeps, that way he can stay quiet. And then pops the forward assist a couple times to make sure that loads. And then he's ready to shoot that coyote he sees. I never thought of using it like that. But again, if you want to be whispering death, you want to be quiet, and you want to just kind of slowly charge your weapon, the forward assist is the only way to be sure you've chambered that round all the way. So I'm going to start loading up here real soon, and let's go shoot it. Okay, I made it to the range out here, and so far what I have is the best Walmart has to offer. Now, I know there's all kinds of different ammunition you can buy for this, but you know what? This is what my local Walmart carries, so this is what I get. This is how I adapt. And who doesn't like Federal? Come on, Federal's good stuff. So I got your basic 223 Remington here, some 55 grain 5.56, and the 62 grain American Eagle. We'll give them a try with everything without the suppressor first. Okay, with the sun at my back here, I'm probably gonna look a little dark, but what I have is I have it set up here with my Caldwell ammo brass catcher. I got a friend who reloads 223 now. Hey Timmy. So I decided I'm gonna save some brass here. He's gonna reload for me too. I have the settings set at standard, and I have 3 magazines I'm gonna try. I have just your standard Federal 223. Oh, this thing shoots real nice and soft. Here we go. Man, that feels like almost nothing. And like I said, in the back here, the spring sound, you would hear that. I know that's kind of funny, but any AR shooter would know that sound. I'm not hearing that at all. It's great. So there was just some 3 rounds of the 223. I got some 55 grain 5.56 by 4.5. Here we go. That had a little bit more felt recoil. Of course, it's going to be a little bit of a hotter round. Now I got some 62 grain green tip. That was a little louder, of course, but still very comfortable to shoot. And that muzzle brake on here, that hammer comp, it's gonna be a little bit more loud, but it's still very comfortable to shoot. Hardly no muzzle rise at all. Everything is to the rear, so it doesn't rise up on me. Very comfortable to shoot. Okay, maybe you can see me a little better from this angle, but I have my steel target down there at 50 yards. I have 20 rounds of just your regular Federal 223. It's the only ammo I brought in bulk. I didn't bring a whole lot of the rest of the stuff, so this is what I'm going to shoot. I've got my timer here. Now, I'm really not going to go off time. What I am going to do is I'm going to use the timer as just something to start with. I'm going to start on safe every time. And then when it goes off, go on fire, shoot a few, go back on safe. Still kind of new yet. I haven't shot it a whole lot. Here we go. Oh man, I shot my chain. I gotta go fix that. So not only did my chain break, when it fell over, one of my pieces of wood broke in half too. So Luckily I had spares because I have another steel. I was gonna have 2 of them out there after this. Not anymore, I still have just the 1. So whatever rounds I have left, I'm just gonna pop them off for fun. Like I said, this charging handle is smooth as butter. So here we go, let's try this again. Now that CMC trigger, I'm gonna aim for the target, but let's just see how fast I can shoot a few off. I'm empty. We'll come back to that. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try again with the CMC trigger. Just do like a quick rapid fire. I don't have the fastest trigger in the world, but I can tell you right now, I don't go that fast in any of my other rifles. Woo, dang. I'm pretty sure 4 out of those 5 went in the steel. Can you hear the ting? Oh, this thing shoots so smoothly. Well, enough wasted ammo. Let's try the suppressor. Okay, I got a table sitting here with all this stuff, so I'm gonna kind of move back and forth here. But we're gonna put the suppressor on, and I got the tool for it here. I'm gonna take the suppressor here. It should clip right on, like so. Okay, now, I wouldn't call this a downfall or a crutch. Technically, you should be able to use a round of ammo to do this, but it does not work with the 55 grain stuff, the 223. 5.56 ammo, it can kind of work, and them 62 grain green tips kind of work, but nothing works better than the tool itself. So I'm going to start with the standard 223 grain, or I'm going to start with the standard 223. And I have it set on the standard suppressor setting. Okay? And I shouldn't need these. Actually quite nice not having to need those. Man, that is some soft shooting. Like nothing. So, what I have next is, I have some, this is the 5.56 by 4.5 55 grain. I think I'm going to try it with the 1 or 2 with the standard setting, and then switch it to the hotter stuff. Okay, the 223 was soft, but the 5.56 is just a little hotter. So I noticed just a little bit more felt recoil. It wasn't uncontrollable, but it was there. So, not necessarily for recoil adjustment, but gas regulation adjustment. Let's try the hot setting with 5.56 by 4.5. Oh yeah. Like butter. Now, since I have it on the hot setting, we're going to call it the hot. The standard, suppressed, and the hot. That's what I'm going to call it. Seems simple, easy to remember. So I have the 62 grain green tip. See how this works. Oh yeah, that is soft for a hotter round. It's amazing how quick you can go through ammo enjoying these things. So what I have next is I have a mount that's going to go here to put the GoPro on, and then you can get a view from the side. So what I have here is I have this little mount that goes on here, and it was originally designed to go on at the back or in the front and slide down your Picatinny rail to the spot that you want. Well, what a pain in the neck. So what I did is I added a quick release mount to it. So what I can do is I can put it on and then tighten this up here. You can see that okay. And there we go. Now I have my GoPro mount on the side of my rifle. Let's give it a try. So what I have here now is I went back to your standard suppressor setting and I put regular 223 rounds in there. I'm using more of that because, well, that's what I brought the most of. I didn't bring a whole lot of the rest of this stuff. So I have a few rounds loaded and I'm just going to shoot. Man, that shoots really nice. Oh wait, we're not ready for the video on this yet. So there you have it, folks. My primary weapon systems, MK116, Mod 1, Griffin Armament Suppressor, CMC Trigger, Bravo Company Machine, Bootleg Inc. Man, I love this rifle. I'm gonna shoot a few shots with it and call it a day. The sound hitting the steel is louder than the sound going off of the rifle. It's great. All right, safety on. Thank you for watching, folks.